I work in bronze, silicon bronze sheet, hollow form construction, and I typically start my work with loose sketches, usually very quick sketches, and typically move very rapidly into the model stage with my work because a sketch will get the idea, but you got to see it in 3 dimensions to really figure it out. I made the mistake and we got caught working directly from a sketch to the final piece, and it can be a nightmare if you haven't resolved the 3-dimensional issue. So I moved from sketch form to chipboard models constructed out of chipboard and super glue. And basically I make the entire piece as I want it, as I see it, out of cardboard first. And once I'm happy with that, that's kind of the aha moment where the piece it's been born, and at that point then I just have to translate that into bronze. I come across challenges in my work and the production of my work with the bronze on a number of levels. There's the forming aspect of it, which is difficult. There's the welding aspect of it, which has got its own level of difficulty. Finishing is another big one. The main challenge is having the forms combine into each other seamlessly without exposed welds. So on most of these pieces, all of the pieces pin into each other in such a way that it's all hidden. It's a challenge to make it come together the way you want it, no matter what, and it's a challenge of having it stand up, cantilever, or balance itself on a internal structure that we put in, whether it's stainless steel rod or whatnot. But that's the fun part. That's the joy, one aspect of the joy of making sculpture that I have. Bronze, even though it's very expensive, it's a joy to work with. It's like butter, and you can to weld it, to grind it. Compared to all the other metals, it's so much easier and so much more forgiving, which allows me to then form it and make it do things I wanted to do. I couldn't get the shapes to do what they're doing out of steel. It just won't work. And bronze is not really affected terribly by heat, so it doesn't want to warp as bad as, let's say, stainless, which is awful. I'm not studying bones or anatomy. I'm not looking at those shapes and then trying to even abstract from those. But I think subconsciously those forms are in my head, and they're coming out in the work, because a lot of the work has bone-like qualities, you could say. I think the similarities between my forms and bones is that I'm looking for the ideal perfect shape, and I think just by nature of design, bones have the ideal shape for what they do, and so I'm striving to do that, to make shapes that are perfect in my mind, and that can be a connection there. It can be mysterious, it can be awe-inspiring, where you're trying to figure out why this thing is standing up. I've always been interested in proportion, combining large shapes and small shapes and different size shapes, and then trying to have that challenge of composing a piece using dissimilar shapes and a wide range of dissimilar shapes, with the really big to the really skinny. And there's a challenge in doing that, because it's not easy to compose a piece and have balance using those shapes, and maybe it's the challenge that invigorates me to do that.